Which food is worth making yourself rather than buying it? Which isn't? I love making most things homemade, but my favorites are bread, which is insanely easy, especially if you have a bread maker, and pizza from scratch. I make all of it from scratch except the cheese, although one day when I have the space I'd love to make my own cheese. No pizza shop pizza compares to my homemade pizza. Also, flatbreads are a great place to start with making your own bread. There are some recipes as simple as flour and water. You just need a really hot pan, a rolling pin or bottle, a spatula, and a little enthusiasm for learning. I cook from scratch, but fried chicken and lasagna are labor-intensive to me. I can get good fried chicken nearby, and there are some good frozen lasagna choices at the supermarket for equal or less than what I can make it for. Tom Thumb Deli does some really good cheap fried chicken, and we both love Rana lasagna and some others. Also, people buy in grocery store gravy packets. It's really just flour, salt, and pepper and a little seasoning. Gravy is quick and easy and a lot better from a few ingredients you keep in the pantry, and costs a lot less. Worth it! I love cooking wings at home. Can play around with flavors. I worked at a place that specialized in chicken wings, so I got a lot of flavors that I like. Plus, whenever you get wings to go, they close the lid on the container, the steam softens the read, just not as good. Not worth it. Pizza dough. If we're talking standard pizza dough, the one you're going to make is not going to be any better than the one you can buy at a grocery store or your favorite pizza place. They'll sell you dough, by the way. Almost anything I make in my kitchen is going to be better than most restaurants because I'm not cutting corners to maximize profits. A restaurant and myself could start with 3 identical ingredients: bread, butter, cheese. My grilled cheese will be infinitely better because of my painstaking method of developing the most exquisite Maillard characteristics on the bread and the crispy brown edges of the oozing cheese. A restaurant would have to charge $50 for the time I take with my grilled cheese by myself. Pasta, omelette, scrambled egg, sunny side up, hard-boiled, tea, grilled cheese, raclette, soup, steak and fries, salad, ratatouille, kimchi, pickles, tomato sauce, cheese platter. Okay to buy for me. Pizza I tried and graciously failed. Japanese ramen, the bouillon and the noodle are special. Fried chicken don't have deep fryer and messy at home. Grilled fish and seafood messy at home. Kebab don't have the grill. Editing okay to buy for me. Homemade burgers are easy and you can have a lot of fun customizing and experimenting. Try adding different things to the patty mix. America's a great example to twist the flavors of it. Probably cheaper than buying a fancy burger outside too. I do have love for a cheap food truck burger, though, I admit. Proper tonkotsu ramen is incredible if homemade correctly, but the sheer time and effort it takes renders it mostly pointless. Once you learn how to cook a steak the way you like it, getting one at a restaurant will never be worth the cost. Things that take a lot of time and finesse though always are. Soups, barbecue, short rib are where you get your money's worth. Also salads, where you can select your own ingredients fresh at a fraction of the price and take minimal effort preparing. Homemade salad dressings are far superior to store-bought as well. Making yourself. Soup siege minestrone soup, tomato soup, etc. Exception here would probably be Olive Garden's free soup refill, but I found their soup options limiting for vegetarians and their minestrone soup was bland. Yogurt. Sandwiches. Protein bars. Vegetarian ramen. Quesadilla with veggies and refried beans. 7-layer Mexican dip. Fruit smoothies, shakes, cooladas, lasas, etc. Vegetarian Thai curry. I used to make yogurt myself at home. Boiling milk and putting in active cultures. It was a way to save money by buying a ton of milk and not have it go bad on you. Is it worth it? Not really. I got sick and tired of eating yogurt every day instead of milk. Though yogurt diluted with some sugar tastes really good. Summary: interesting to do, but not worth it. Could save you some bucks. For me, sauce type stuff: Alfredo, gravy, teriyaki. Also, I see a lot of people online saying they use rotisserie chicken for recipes that require chicken meat because it's easier. No hate to them, whatever works for you, but am I the only one who thinks it's way easier to just cook a couple of chicken breasts instead of picking the meat off a rotisserie chicken? I used to love making baklava at home. It's way cheaper than store-bought, and also much better if you put plenty of nuts in it. As I matured and came to my senses, I realized that no sane person is supposed to eat a tray of baklava in a week. It's much healthier to buy a piece once a year, whatever it may cost. That's an insane amount of sugar and fat. I try not to eat fried stuff a lot, but if I do, I'd prefer it made out of my home because the smell stinks and lingers around afterwards. It's also messy. Other than that, I make damn near everything. The only thing I can make that I don't is butter, but if I didn't have access to quality butter with a higher fat content, I probably would. Chicken fettuccine Alfredo. One of the easiest dishes I have ever made. If you follow any recipe, you just can't get it wrong. Highly recommend you stop paying $14 at Olive Garden for one dish, when you can spend $14 on the ingredients and half an hour of your day to get 8 dishes of that delicious, creamy, thick, Italian meal. Spreadable butter. I don't make the butter from scratch, but I just add room temperature butter and avocado oil to my mixer and I whip it really well. It becomes super spreadable. And I can control the ingredients. The price is super expensive in comparison to the quantity you get. It's about half the price. I have an amazing salmon recipe and have not ordered it out in a decade, as it is never as good as what I can make at home. I have made croissants once. They were delicious. I ate for 2 weeks afterwards. I will never make them again. They are worth every penny I pay someone else to make them. I'd argue that most Italian food is better at home than frozen restaurant quality, and is mostly pretty easy to make. There are some exceptions for stuffed pastas and such, but spaghetti and sauce is very simple to make, and it tastes absolutely delicious when made at home. Worth it. Bread. Not worth it. Pastry. Homemade fresh out of the oven bread is magic, and if you have a bread maker or a stand maker, it isn't even that much work. The yeast does all the heavy lifting, literally. Pastry, on the other hand, just buy the shit out of the can. Grilled cheese sandwich. I used to think I make an okay one, went to a few restaurants to order it and realized that I actually make a damn good one. For things that aren't worth it, anything that requires huge amounts of time for prep like ribs or ramen, make yourself salad dressing. Healthier and cheaper. Just buy it soup bouillon. I have a hobby of making my own veg stock for fun, but I need too much of it in my day-to-day to justify always having vats of chicken beef veg stock eternally bubbling away. Most meals are monetarily worth doing yourself, even more so in bulk batches. Staple food like bread or bags of pasta are easier to buy than DIY emo. Pizza is always better bought from somewhere. 100, maybe my mind would change if I had a pizza oven. Chicken stock is worth it. You can buy a whole rotisserie at a store like Costco for $5. Use the carcass to make lots of stock. Fruit smoothies are worth it. Intricate pastries, I'd say, are not worth it if you factor in the time it takes. Only buy out of the house. Pho. Fried chicken sandwich. Gyro doner kebab. Croissant. Only make myself. Pancakes. Sides of rice for takeout. Pancakes again. How is a stack $11 when I make them better for 75 cents? While we're at it, waffles. Soup. It's way more nutritious than the veggies. Meat and broth are super fast to make. The veggies and just a little seasoning and it tastes amazing. Also take soup over the top by dropping in some cheese. Specifically sharp cheddar. Lol. Seitan takes several hours from start to finish, but it isn't actually difficult to make, just time consuming. A $3 bag of all-purpose flour will get you about 6 times as much seitan as what comes in the $5 package at the store. There's a great series by Moro Cooks called Make It or Buy It on TikTok. I made his vodka pasta based on his Make It recommendation and it was game-changing. Croissants, or anything with a flaky pastry, isn't worth trying to make at home. Homemade pasta sauce is better than anything out of a jar and not that difficult. Homemade meatballs better than anything frozen. Tuna sandwich. I can't believe places are charging $15 for a damn tuna sandwich. Same with avocado toast. The cafe near me charges $22. It's 1 slice of toast, avocado, and 3 cherry tomatoes. Absolutely insane. Spaghetti sauce. It's sinful to buy a jar of it. Considering how cheap and easy it is to make stuff at home, that's an order of magnitude better than the store stuff, even for the least talented cook. Tacos are definitely better if you make them on your own. You can get like 15-20 tacos for the price you'd pay for 4 or 5 at a restaurant. Tintin recommend learning how to do it on your own. I made butter for myself, which was a lot of labor, but fun. However, it tasted exactly like the butter I get from the grocery store, and wasn't worth the time and effort it required. Waffles. Most waffles at reasonably affordable breakfast joints taste the same or very similar. Trendy breakfast places either don't have them, have tiny portions, or add way too much. Deep frying yourself is a big pain, unless you have a deep fryer. And if you deep fry often enough that owning a deep fryer makes sense, it's probably time to reevaluate your diet. Daughter and I love toffee from Whole Foods. 15 years ago it was some $38 pound. One rainy Saturday we tried it ourselves. Bang, it must cost about $10 a pound and it's better. Make at home bread, pizza, stocks, granola, salad dressings, pasta sauce, cookies by condiments, pre-cut vegetables, certain breads, canned beans, frozen foods, yogurt. There's an entire book on this topic. Make the bread, buy the butter. Salads BC, they are quick, easy, are great to make at home. Stock ramen take forever to make yourself, and you can get some really nice instant flavor packages these days. Wings. You can get wings and sauce and spices for $1, $2 or less than prepared wings, and they are simple to cook in an oven or an air fryer or a grill or a deep fryer. Mayonnaise. Industrial ones are made at best, yet it's one of the easiest sauce to make as well as being very cheap to make. And you can customize how you want. It's possible to make lasagna far better than the frozen ones you'd buy from the grocery store, but it costs way more and takes way more time than it's worth. Steak. I have yet to find a restaurant that cooks an amazing steak. They're usually bland in flavor, or you have to pay an arm and leg for a decent tasting one. Roast potatoes. The frozen ones don't come close. A full roast dinner, as well, in fact. Never had one at a restaurant that comes close to making one at home. Tzatziki. Where I live no restaurant makes it as tasty as at home. Plus it's always super runny as they never drain the liquid from the cucumbers and yogurt.